Okay, so get this. Did you know that back in 2022, just in the US and Canada, Facebook had something like 264 million monthly active users?
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge number.
Right. It's massive. It's basically this giant living focus group, always on. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
How social media is being used for market research.
Exactly. Not just for, pushing out ads, but for listening. Really listening. Our mission here is to unpack how businesses are using social media to genuinely learn about their customers, the market, all that shifting landscape stuff.
Mm-hmm. There's just so much information out there.
Totally. And we want to help you make sense of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because social media market research, it's fundamentally about tapping into that ocean of data, right? And pulling out what actually matters.
I'm not just counting likes then.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's much more strategic. It uses a whole range of tools, different methods to really get a handle on how consumers are behaving, what they're thinking.
So things like social listening, sentiment analysis.
Exactly. Social listening, which is like tuning into conversations online. Sentiment analysis helps figure out the emotion behind the words and even, directly asking people through polls and surveys right there on the
Oh,
platforms.
okay.
And the amazing thing is the sheer variety of people you can hear from, different ages, locations, interests, all sharing their thoughts, often in real time.
Okay, let's dig into that first one then. Social listening.
Hmm.
What what is it really? Is it just scrolling through Twitter?
Huh. No, not quite. It's more sophisticated. Think of it like setting up really smart filters across all these platforms
Filters for what?
for mentions of your brand, maybe your products, your competitors too, or even just broader industry keywords, topics people are talking about that relate to your field. It's about actively monitoring.
Okay.
And this lets companies see more than just, how many times their name pops up. They can track conversation volume, see if the general vibe is positive, negative, or just neutral.
Spotting trends too, you mentioned.
Crucially, yes. Spotting emerging patterns, maybe potential issues before they blow up. It's almost like an early warning system for your brand and the market.
Gotcha. So listening tells you what's being said,
Yeah.
but understanding the feeling, that's sentiment analysis, you said. How does that work?
Right. So listening gives you the what and how often. Sentiment analysis tackles the how they feel. It often uses something called natural language processing, or NLP.
NLT. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a type of AI, basically, that helps decode the emotional tone in the text. Is it happy, angry, frustrated, confused?
And why is that so valuable?
Well, it's huge for gauging public opinion.
Right.
Really understanding how people feel about, say, a new product launch or a marketing campaign. You might see a sudden jump in negative words.
Like disappointed or broken.
Exactly. And that could immediately flag a problem, maybe a bug in an update. Or conversely, if you see a lot of positive stuff, words like love it, amazing, after a new ad,
Yeah.
that tells you it's hitting the mark.
Okay, so we're listening, we're decoding feelings, but it's not all passive, is it? You mentioned direct engagement too.
You're absolutely right. It's not just observing from afar. The great thing about social media is it's interactive, right?
Yeah.
So businesses are increasingly using that. Think about polls you see on X or those question stickers on Instagram stories, even running short surveys right there in the feed.
And people actually respond to those.
They do. The benefit is you get direct, often immediate feedback. You can ask very specific things. What features do you prefer? What are your biggest frustrations? What do you expect from us?
So it's like having a conversation.
Pretty much, a direct line.
Yeah.
And those insights, they can be turned around really quickly into, say, product tweaks, better customer service answers, or more focused marketing messages. It keeps the dialogue going.
Okay, stepping back a bit, we've got listening, sentiment, direct engagement. Why is this whole social media research thing so, well, essential for businesses right now?
Well, think about traditional market research. Like big surveys or focus groups, they often give you a snapshot, right? A picture from one moment in time.
Yeah, they can get outdated quickly.
Exactly. Social media, though, it's this continuous real-time flow of what people are thinking and doing. And in today's market, things change so fast. You need that constant pulse to stay, agile and focused on the customer.
So it helps you react faster.
Much faster. You can spot potential crises brewing or maybe jump on a new opportunity. Things traditional methods might totally miss or only catch weeks later. Honestly, ignoring this data stream today, it's like trying to navigate a really fast river blindfolded.
That's a good way to put it. And part of that navigation must be watching the competition, right? Can social media help there?
Oh, absolutely. It's a goldmine for competitive intelligence. You're monitoring what people are saying about
What
them.
kind of insights can you get?
You can see how their brand is perceived, what content of theirs gets people talking, maybe where their product isn't quite hitting the mark based on customer complaints or comments,
So finding their weaknesses.
and their strengths. It's about understanding their whole playbook, really, straight from the conversations their own customers are having. That lets you sharpen your own strategy, maybe find an edge.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned traditional research.
Mm-hmm.
Surveys, focus groups.
Yeah.
They can be pricey. How does social media compare on cost?
That's a huge advantage. It's often way more cost effective. I mean, think about it. Running big surveys or flying people in for focus groups, that adds up.
For sure.
Social media research makes these kinds of insights much more accessible, even for like smaller businesses or startups that don't have massive budgets.
Other free tools.
Yeah, many platforms have built-in analytics that give you basic data for free or at a pretty low cost. Plus, so much of the conversation is public anyway. You can gather a lot without needing big third-party contracts.
And it scales.
Totally scalable. You can focus on just local chatter, or you can zoom out and look at global trends, often using the same tools. It's
Yeah.
incredibly flexible.
Okay, let's look ahead a bit. Where is this all going? It feels like technology, especially AI, must be changing the game here.
Oh, completely. We're really just scratching the surface, I think. AI and machine learning are set to cause some major transformations.
How so?
Well, think about tools emerging now. Like Qualtrics has something called XM Discover. It uses tech they got from Clarabridge, and it basically pulls together customer feedback from everywhere, social media, chat support logs, online reviews, surveys, into one single place.
Wow, okay, so a unified view.
Exactly. It uses AI and ML to analyze all of it together, giving you this much richer, more holistic picture of the customer experience. Instead of just seeing the social comment, you see it alongside their recent support ticket and review score.
That sounds powerful. What else?
Well, we're going to see, I think, much more sophisticated, hyper-targeted research using AI to segment audiences with incredible precision based on their online behavior and conversation.
Finding niche groups?
Finding very specific groups, yeah. And AI will get better at mapping out individual customer journeys across different social platforms, seeing how someone interacts here, then moves there, what influences them,
Which means?
which means even more personalized marketing, more tailored product development, and the real-time aspect, that's only going to get faster. We'll see more predictive insights, AI spotting trends before they even fully emerge.
Allowing businesses to react even quicker.
Or even proactively, responding to potential issues before they escalate, adapting to market shifts almost instantly. It's about speed and efficiency.
Okay, this is fascinating stuff. But for someone listening, maybe thinking, all right, I'm sold, but how do I actually do this? What are the practical steps?
Good question. Well, we've touched on the core ones. Social listening is your starting point, right? Setting up that monitoring.
Right.
Then actively using surveys and polls on social media, great for quick opinions, engagement, getting that quantitative data numbers on how many people prefer option A over B, for instance.
And gauging campaign success quickly.
Definitely. Then there's sentiment analysis, using those NLP tools to understand the emotion. Don't forget competitor analysis, keeping tabs on what they're doing and how people react.
Are there other methods too?
Yeah, there are others. You can look at what influencers in your space are saying and doing. There are dedicated social media analytics platforms that offer deeper insights than the built-in tools, analyzing trending topics, seeing how your own content performs, even digging into user-generated content like photos or videos customers post using your product. It all adds up.
It really feels like social media isn't just a place to announce things anymore. It actually shapes what customers might do next. How does that influence work?
It's deeply psychological, really. Social media marketing, when done well, influences the factors driving engagement and ultimately purchase decisions. A big part of it is building trust and community.
How do brands do that?
By engaging, responding to comments, the good and the bad, liking customer posts, sharing user-generated content, showing real people using the product, participating in relevant conversations.
Making the brand feel more human.
Exactly. It builds those emotional connections, creates a sense of belonging. When a brand seems like it actually listens and values its customers, it builds trust. And that trust, it significantly boosts a potential buyer's confidence and their intent to actually buy something. It's about the whole experience.
Of course, nothing's perfect. Are there downsides or limitations we need to be aware of when using social media for research?
Yeah, definitely things to keep in mind. One big one is demographic representation,
Meaning?
meaning the people active on, say, TikTok or LinkedIn might not perfectly reflect the entire population or even your total target market. Different platforms have different biases, age, profession, location, etc.
So you could get a skewed view.
You could, yeah. If you only rely on data from one or two platforms, you might miss perspectives from other groups. It's really important to be aware of who uses which platform and consider if you need to supplement your social findings with maybe other research methods to get a more balanced picture.
That makes sense. What about privacy?
That's the other huge one, data privacy and ethics. There are ongoing discussions and regulations about how much data can be collected, how it's used, how transparent companies need to be. Users are also getting more aware and sometimes concerned.
So businesses need to be careful.
Very careful. They need to ensure their practices align with privacy laws like GDPR or CCPA and be ethical about how they gather and interpret this public, but still personal data. Transparency is key.
Right. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, if you had to boil it down, what are the absolute key takeaways about social media market research today?
I think the main thing is recognizing that fundamental shift. Social media isn't just a broadcast channel anymore. It's become this incredibly vital tool for listening and learning.
From customers, from the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It offers real-time insights. It's often cost-effective. It helps you understand consumer behavior, how your brand is perceived, what trends are bubbling up. Used properly, it gives a real competitive edge. It's about being tuned in.
Tuned in. I like that. Okay, one final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Mhm.
With AI getting so much better at understanding all these social conversations, even the subtle stuff, how might that totally change our grasp of public opinion? Or even track individual customer journeys in ways we can barely imagine now?
That's a big question. The level of insight could be revolutionary.
But what new ethical questions pop up when you have that much insight into what people are thinking and feeling, even predictively? Something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
We really encourage you to think about how these techniques might apply to what you do, your own interests, and maybe explore this fascinating world of social media research a bit further.